Poppy the doll is a very interesting character to me. I mean, the game is even named after her. Usually when this happens, the plot of the game is centered around that character, but in Poppy Playtime, she kind of feels like a side character, someone less important. At least, that's what they want you to think. I believe Poppy is playing a much bigger role in the game than we think. This innocent doll is manipulating us into helping the prototype. Poppy is the true villain. To understand why she might do this, we need to recognize who she is. Poppy was clearly a successful experiment. As we know, Elliot Ludwig was the founder of Playtime Co., and he was also a family man at heart. Although due to unknown tragic events, Elliot lost an unnamed family member. I believe this to be Elliot's daughter. This brought Elliot to the worst point in his life, although he did not stop creating. Because of his drive for innovation and the love for his daughter, he devised a plan to get his daughter back. With the sudden passing of his daughter, he frantically found a way using the poppy flower to transfer her soul into a poppy doll. This would explain how Poppy is his daughter, with so far no evidence to support it. It's because she was experiment 0, the unplanned first one. After the success of his daughter's transfer, Elliot began to experiment on rats, trying to see if he could bring them back from the dead using a poppy flower and preservative gel. This was said in a note we find on his desk, also mentioning, "I still believe in the potential of the poppy flower. Perhaps something larger than a rat would yield different results," leading to the creation of the Bigger Bodies initiative. But what is important here is the "I still believe," meaning prior to experiment 814, he had success with the poppy flower, further supporting that Elliot's daughter might have been the first ever successful soul transfer. Now, we have no idea how Elliot's daughter was before her passing, although Poppy's personality is extremely unsettling. As a living doll, she seems to retain her general personality, at least so it seems. At the start of chapter 2, Poppy is first introduced with a bubbly, caring personality, thanking us for freeing her and offering to help us escape the factory, which is odd. Everyone thinks she wrote the note for us to return here to save the toys. So why would she offer to help us escape all of a sudden? Well, we will come back to this. She continues this personality throughout the start of the game, although during the end of chapter 2, her personality seems to have a dark turn, emotionlessly asking creepy questions like, "Did you kill her?" It seems like something changed. After we entered the train and started moving, Poppy decides not to let us leave yet, explaining how she knows we are capable of doing whatever she wants us to do, as if we are her guinea pig. This sweet, innocent toy seems to be showing her true colors now. But then in chapter 3, we learn why she did this. It's to stop the prototype. However, Poppy is lying to us. It seems there is a lot more about this doll than meets the eye. When we first find Poppy, she was locked inside of a case. We later learn that the prototype locked her inside for a long time. However, I don't think this was true. Poppy was lying to us about this. If all of the toys needed to eat to stay alive, just like Poppy told us at the end of chapter 3, then how was she still alive in the case? Even if she was unconscious, she still would need to eat some form of food. She even tells us that she had been inside of it for a long time. So that doesn't really add up. Considering that she's not technically a bigger body, maybe she doesn't need to eat. Although there is still a problem here. Like I mentioned before, it's widely thought that Poppy was the one that wrote us the Find the Flower letter that brought us here in the first place. But how could she have done this if she was locked inside of the case? Well, she never was. She just hopped inside of it right before we got there. You could argue that someone else wrote the letter, but who? Clearly it was a toy considering the spelling errors, so maybe Catnap or Olli? I don't think either. I do believe Poppy wrote the letter, but it wasn't for us to help the toys and defeat the prototype. It was to lure us here to unknowingly help the prototype. Now, why would Poppy want to do this? Why help the prototype? Well, like I mentioned earlier, Poppy's personality changes throughout chapter 2. When we first speak to her, she is very energetic and friendly. Although, after we take down Mommy Longlegs, her whole demeanor changes. With a lifeless face and emotionless voice, she asks us if we killed her, as if she expected us to do so, almost like she was testing us. She then says, "Good, now board the train." However, instead of escaping, Poppy suddenly decides not to let us leave and sends us deeper into the factory. She explains how we are too perfect to lose and can't let us leave. She knows that whatever she needs us to do, we are capable. We took down Huggy Wuggy and Mommy Longlegs. Everything is going according to plan. Once we meet with Poppy in chapter 3, she explains everything that's going on. on, how it's all the prototype's fault. This is his doing. She then goes on about how capable we are, again using this word, capable, how we stopped Huggy Wuggy and Mommy Longlegs. The next toy she wants us to take down is Catnap, and of course we do as we are told. She finds us again at the end of the chapter, going on about how Catnap is gone and the red smoke is diverted, how everything is falling into place. She keeps bringing up how we have taken down all of the still living toys remaining in the factory, as if it's very important. More on this in a moment. Now, it's thought that the prototype might be Elliot Ludwig. The prototype was most likely created around the late 1980s. This would place Elliot around the age of 90 years old. Therefore, it would make sense considering Elliot most likely wanted to continue his work. With a dying body, why not transfer the soul into another vessel? But there is also another reason why he might want to do this: to live with his daughter forever. With his soul inside of a bigger body, he and his daughter Poppy can now be together forever. Although, as we know, the prototype was a special breakthrough, the optimal vessel for a living organic experiment. What a coincidence that the founder of Playtime Co. turned out to be the most important experiment. However, because of the prototype's significance, he was locked away and relentlessly tested on. Locked away from his daughter. Wanting revenge and freedom, the hour of joy began. Although the prototype was still a prototype, he was never finished. This is why he takes the dead toys, to build himself. Yet, even after the hour of joy, there were still toys alive. Now, it's thought that the prototype wanted to save the toys. Yes, this might be true, but an evil mind tends to only care about themselves. The prototype needed to be stronger, but he couldn't do it on his own. With Poppy being too small, they devised a plan to lure us into the factory and take down the rest of the toys so he could continue to build himself up, so Elliot and his daughter can live together forever. This is why she is helping the prototype. It makes perfect sense. Poppy writes us a letter that gets us to return. Once we are here, she watches us to see if we can defeat Huggy Wuggy. With Huggy gone, the prototype takes his body. 1 down, 2 to go. We are then led to find Poppy as she pretends to be on our side, needing us to take down Mommy Longlegs, another still alive toy lurking around the factory. Once we do so, we even see the prototype take her body. 2 down, 1 to go. We ultimately passed her test. Now all that's left, at least as of chapter 3, is Catnap, the strongest of them all. Now you might be wondering why the prototype would want to get rid of Catnap. After all, he did worship him. Well, the prototype no longer needed Catnap. The hour of joy was a success and all of the employees are gone. Catnap was just a loose end. Once we defeat him, we watch as the prototype takes him as well, becoming stronger and stronger. With the rest of the bigger bodies gone, even Miss Delight, the prototype has nothing to stop him. Although this leads to the question of why would Huggy and Mommy Longlegs want to stop the prototype? Maybe because they saw just how dangerous he could become. Once we take down Mommy Longlegs, she screams in fear that she will become part of him, meaning she might have been afraid of the prototype even after the hour of joy. She saw what he was becoming. Huggy and Mommy Longlegs could have been keeping the prototype locked inside. Regardless, this whole time, Poppy was just pretending to be on our side, convincing us that taking down these toys was helping us to get to the prototype, while in reality, it was actually helping him and making him stronger. This is why it was so important to Poppy for us to take down the toys. Poppy is able to change her personality instantly, so of course she is only acting this way to manipulate us. This is why she offered to help us escape in chapter 2, so we wouldn't catch on to her plan. Why would we question someone who only wanted to help us? In chapter 4, when we meet the prototype, Poppy is going to reveal everything, how she tricked us into making the prototype stronger, showing us her truly evil intentions. Now, this leaves a few unanswered questions. What about Olli and Kissy Missy? Poppy could very well be tricking Olli into helping us. Or, as I've suggested, Olli is actually the prototype. This would make perfect sense, considering Olli knows all about the facility and the gas production zone, explaining how the gas is made here. He is very adamant about the gas, and it's a little weird how he tells us to move the gas from the right chamber to the left, and his only explanation is that it's the only way to get to him, but he doesn't go into detail about why or what this is doing. Even after we complete the task, we don't hear from Olli, not even a good job or anything. This is extremely concerning. I think the gas is either preventing the prototype from somehow escaping, or it was a way to lure Catnap into fighting us. Either way, by doing what he asked, we seem to have been helping the prototype. Olli even gets us to take down Miss Delight. Now, what about Kissy Missy? I think Poppy has just been manipulating Kissy as well. Clearly, she is a lost soul that just needs direction, and Poppy was taking advantage of this. Poppy basically just let her die at the end of chapter 3. Kissy could have easily pulled the lever, then walked over and hopped in the elevator, but Poppy tells her to stay. Wait like a sitting duck. Wait all alone to be attacked. Everything that Poppy has done is behind a mask of lies, showing us just how careless and evil she can really be, manipulating anyone she needs to in order to help her and her father escape. What do you guys think of Poppy? Is she just a friendly doll trying to help us take down the prototype, or does she have sinister intentions? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, if you want to support the channel even more, you can become a member. Don't forget to check out my Twitter at TerrifyT. Thanks for watching.